I struggle with the intense fear of failure my whole life, and I cannot tell you how much I self-sabotaged, especially when it comes to my creative online business and my creative journey. There were a lot of things that I tried, but I did not dare to continue, and there were things I just simply avoided doing because I was so afraid of failing. Even when I did great, I could not really celebrate myself because my relationship with myself wasn't that good. My relationship with failure wasn't that good. It wasn't until I developed a failing practice, it wasn't until I figured out how to fail softly, how to land softly, how to be gentle with myself after I failed, or after I fell short of my own expectations or the expectations of others. So yeah, in this video, I would like to share with you my failure self-care routine, how I fail softly. Hopefully this will help you too. So failing really isn't that bad once you know how to fail and once you have your own personal routines around failure. Matcha latte with rose water and a dash of honey. Perfect. So the first thing I do to fail softly is to feel my feelings. This is the most important thing because I'm an HSP and empath, and I cannot function without processing my feelings. So when I fail, when I experience failure, when I feel like I've fallen short of my expectations or things aren't working out as well as I've hoped, I would give myself a cushion period. I would allow myself to land on something soft instead of being really hard on myself, instead of just pushing everything down and trying to push through, trying to overwork, trying to just get right back in there. I give myself a period of time where I put a cushion down and I say, feel your feelings. Usually what I do is I would journal, I would process things, and I would just talk to myself out loud in the room. I am a strong believer in not suppressing things and not shoving things under the doormat of your subconscious or in your psyche, because whatever you push down, it's gonna come back up stronger and harder and just even worse for you to handle like later on. So you just want to have a practice of just being gentle with yourself and being gentle with your feelings and just being really honest about how you feel. And I don't believe in forcing yourself to think positive when you're having negative emotions. It's more important to process them in a safe space and in a healthy way. So like I said, for me, I journal, I like to talk to myself out loud, or I just vent to myself in my room. Definitely give yourself a space to vent and feel your feelings, be it rage or sadness or grief or just disappointment, frustration around your failure, whatever it is. Just let yourself vent. Vent responsibly, vent freely, vent everything out, and just have fun with it, and just be gentle with yourself and take care of yourself and just let yourself feel your feelings. So that's the first thing. Second thing when it comes to failing softly is to, once you're in a calm state, after you sort of process that initial trigger, you want to do your best to be mindful of your negative self-talk. You don't want to talk to yourself in a way that berates yourself or humiliates yourself or even abusive towards yourself. You want to catch your negative self-talk. You don't want to talk to yourself as if you're trash or talk to yourself as if you're a failure. You want to just try to catch it. So you want to talk to yourself in a self-loving way. And this doesn't mean just trying to like butter yourself up with optimism and hope and just focus on the future. You just want to be really grounded and calm and just keep it real. Just say things like, I'm working towards healing my shame. I'm working towards the difficult feelings of failure. You want to say something more neutral, something more reflective of where you are right now. You want to be mindful of your self-talk and just like practice having more self-loving self-talk. I personally like to replace the word positive with self-loving, because sometimes words of love doesn't have to sound like fluffy and positive and you can do this and all rah and stuff. Sometimes that has the opposite effect. So you just want to keep it real, catch your negative self-talk, and replace it with affirmations and self-loving affirmations or some grounding statements. The third step when it comes to failing softly is to give yourself some recharging time. Recharge your energy, recharge your vibes, and this could be in the form of a nap, which is my personal favorite because I identify as a cozy introverted panda. Sometimes taking a good nap can just help you process all that negative, heavy energy that comes with having failed. You want to prioritize some high vibe activities to replenish the energy that you just spent processing and coping with that failure. You want to do something that you enjoy. You want to do something that makes you feel calm and grateful. It doesn't have to be like something Instagrammable, fantastical. It could just be something you enjoy. It could be something cozy. Go on Animal Crossing and just game on your Switch, or just do some stretching and do some yoga, or just sit in your backyard and just drink a cup of matcha like what I'm doing. Make yourself a cup of tea, do something fun, romanticize your life, do something to recharge your vibes, because rest is so important. Joy can really transmute trauma. Joy can really transmute the energy that was lost and just the negative shock of that failure. So you want to just like, you want to make sure you're balancing a difficult experience with enjoyable ones. Because what happens when you fail or when you experience failure or you perceive something as a failure, it's really like a loss of self. It's like a loss of identity, right? Like whatever it is that you think succeeding will get you, for example, status or fame or validation, it's a loss of that thing that we were hoping to grasp, that we thought would make us feel better about ourselves. So there's like this sort of vacuum of the identity, that sense of self that we were hoping to get, and it's external source of our identity, which is not healthy. And that's why it's so important to recharge your vibes and do something that you personally enjoy, because you want to remind yourself that you exist and you're worthy of existing, you're worthy of just enjoying things outside of failure, outside of the things that you're doing, outside of your work, by doing things that you enjoy, by doing things that brings you rest and leisure, by doing things that you feel like is romanticizing your life, that reclaims your time, you know? It's just so important to still maintain like a healthy sense of self during difficult times. Sometimes we might feel too depressed to even do those things, or we might even feel unworthy, but just do one thing that makes you feel happy. Do one thing that makes you feel relaxed. Okay, number 4 is just like a little reminder. Remind yourself that failing is not permanent. And failing is actually an excellent time to collect EXP, experience points, and collect wisdom and collect data and information on how to bring yourself closer to the outcomes that you desire. Ever since I sort of shifted my mindset and told myself that if something doesn't work out or if something doesn't give me the results that I want, this is just information to help me bring myself closer towards deeper alignment with my vision and with what I'm trying to create in my life. Because sometimes when you don't take action, when you spend a lot of time in your head perfecting your plans and trying to figure out how not to fail, you really don't know. Like, you have to take an action first and do something first, and you get that feedback either through it not working out, or maybe it does work out, or maybe it'll just give you a lot of valuable information about how to move forward. And you wouldn't have found out if you haven't tried that thing. So everything that you do, all the failures that you experience are just EXPs to take you through the next chapter, to take you to the next level, to just bring you closer to achieving your goal. So failing really isn't that bad. It feels really bad, but if you know how to fail, if you know how to fail with yourself, if you know how to take care of yourself after you fail, it really isn't that bad. When negative emotions get so intense, it's because we don't know what to do. But if you have a routine, if you have a routine of feeling your feelings, if you have like the habit of being gentle with yourself, allowing yourself time to heal and process, at the same time remaining committed to your goals and your vision, it really builds self-trust. You really allow yourself to build more trust in yourself and a healthy relationship with yourself. So it's not really about the failure. It's about nurturing the relationship that you have with yourself and with failure, if you know what I mean. So yeah, collect those EXPs, audit, figure out what went wrong and figure out what could work next time, and come up with some strategies, and then just figure out your next steps. And that is next step. Number 5, which is to figure out your next step. You want to figure out one thing that you could do differently for next time to create a different outcome. I don't like to say, avoid failure. I'm slowly accepting the fact that avoiding to fail it just doesn't work. So I'm changing my language to like figuring out how to bring myself closer to my desired outcome rather than I'm avoiding failure, because it's kind of like general and vague, and it just brings up a lot of like uncertainty because you don't really know what that is sometimes if you don't define it. And the language itself just, I don't know, it's almost as if you're treating failure like some kind of monster or boss fight. And when you over dramatize it in your language, you sort of give energy to that reality and it becomes real. When I say things like, I'm figuring out one next step, something new that I could try, something different I could do to bring myself closer to my desired outcome, that makes me feel more grounded, and that makes me feel like, oh, this is just something new I'm trying. Like, failing isn't that bad because I can always figure out what to do next, and I know how to take care of myself. I know how to bounce back. The bounce back is important. Failing really isn't that important. It's not. How to bounce back and how to handle your own failure, how to handle yourself when you fail, that's the most important part. Figure out one thing that you could do differently next time. And it doesn't have to be like the perfect plan. Like, you don't have to figure out the perfect next step. You just have to figure out one thing that you could do differently. This could be something as small as next time I'm going to give myself more time to make decisions, or next time I'm going to make myself a cup of tea while I work so I don't feel so stressed, and that can really increase my productivity. Like you know, it could be something like, oh, I'm going to change the editing style for my next video. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to remain consistent but do something different. I'm not going to beat myself up over over something that I did, because I did it to push myself forward. I did it to experiment. I did it to bring myself closer to my goals. And how could I blame myself for that? How could I blame myself for trying? So I'm just gonna do something different, and that's all. So it doesn't have to be an intense experience at all. You can make it as soft as you can. And I know the word soft could send the hardcore hustlers scurrying because they want to be hardcore. They want to be like, oh, they want to be like all gung-ho about it. They want to just like keep pushing and just push through and just push through and just I just think it's so much better to do things softly. You're giving yourself space to exist. You're allowing yourself to process your emotions. You are creating and nurturing a healthy relationship with yourself. You're allowing yourself to fail without consequence. And it's not that you're avoiding responsibilities. You're still fully responsible for your life and for your actions. You're also just taking responsibility for your emotional health, and then taking responsibility for your energy, for your joy, and of course taking responsibility for your bounce back. And this whole thing doesn't have to be hard and intense and like stressful at all. Like, it could just be a part of life. It could just be part of your self-love routine. It could just be something that you do to keep moving forward. This mentality of you just have to keep pushing forward without stopping is like so toxic and unhealthy. It just promotes burnout and overwhelm, which is like what happened to me for several years before I learned how to do this softly and still remain super committed. Like, you can remain so committed to your dreams and have strong work ethic while, I'm getting emotional for some reason, just while remaining soft. You know, you can do all the hard things while remaining soft and be gentle with yourself. Because being gentle with yourself, it's sort of like it's kind of like you're a Kung Fu Panda when you need to be. You're a warrior when you're facing your challenges, but when you're with yourself, you're soft, you're loving, you're just a space of unconditional love. I think tending to your wounds and tending to your negative feelings and tending to your mindsets and tending to your routines and strategies, this can all be incredibly soft. Like, it doesn't have to be like a hardcore stressful thing at all. And if you want to be hardcore, if you love the word hardcore, go ahead. I'm just sort of removing the stress from it. Like, you can be so gentle with yourself, but you can remain so incredibly committed and still do big things and do incredible things. So yeah, that's my take. All right, so I hope you found something useful in this video, and I hope that you have maybe gotten some ideas about how to feel softly. What do you do to bounce back? If you want to follow me on my journey on personal development and spiritual growth and just leveling up on life, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and we can level up magic and life together while healing and feeling deeply together. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care of yourself.